Welcome to the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, and for almost a decade, I have been a transformation coach and therapist. This podcast is all about lifting the veil of consciousness and awakening to the truth. It is also about helping you to raise the bar in all areas of your life and relationships by starting with you. If you're ready to take back your personal power and reclaim your life, you have come to the right place. I'm so glad that you're here, so let's get started with today's episode. Real growth is seeing someone for who they really are now and deciding if you can live with who they are today, not who they'd be if only they'd change this or that or the other thing. We need to realize that trying to shape a misaligned partner into what we want and need will never work. Let's dive into today's episode. So real growth, really, and this is how we know we're growing, especially if we have a history of getting into toxic relationships. A lot of women I've worked with over the past 5 years in Awakening Women have been in toxic relationships for decades, literally multiple decades, feeling unable to escape and break free. And what they get trapped in is trying for all of those years to change their person back to what they saw in the beginning. And working really hard to change the behavior, to make them stop being abusive, to make them start being more apologetic and empathetic and caring and sensitive to their needs, and to make them stop being abusive, to make them stop messing with their heads, to make them stop lying and cheating and all of those things. Real growth is when you can see someone for who they really are and decide, can I live with this as the person is now? Now, this would be fantastic if we knew this at the very beginning of getting into a relationship. Would save us a lot of heartache and headache. And again, we don't want to look back with regrets in life. We can have regrets, but it doesn't really serve us to go coulda, woulda, shoulda, wish I had've, but I didn't, right? We can learn from the past though. And so if you're in one of these relationships, it can be really helpful to ask yourself the question, can I live with it how it is now? If nothing changed about this person and this dynamic, can I live with this? I'm going to drop all of my efforts to change him and focus in on my own work because that's all I have power over. And I'm going to stop trying to fix and step into that hero role all the time. Can I live with this as it is now for another year, 2 years, 3 years, till the kids are moved out, however long the timeline is, till the money comes in or whatever? We often move the goalpost to leave. By the way, I see this a lot with women where that goalpost keeps moving to where it's being put off over and over and over and over again. So realize that, yes, while two people who are open to growing and evolving together, we can make adjustments and changes for the good of the relationship as a whole, but who someone is on a core level is deeply ingrained. So you really have to like the person for who they're showing you that they are, their character, their personality, their tendencies, their traits, and realize, sure, there's room for tweaking. Sure, there's room for making some improvements with someone who wants to. And this is the part where women go wrong in these types of relationships because you're not dealing with someone who wants to. We can make some changes and adjustments because we love the other person and because we want to change something, because we can see it that it's a problem as well. There's that twofold thing. We have to be able to see that something needs to change and want to change it in order to change. So if you think about your own change journey, you have to want to change something within yourself really badly, like have a real motivation to want to change certain things that may be deeply ingrained. And some of it can be really hard to change. Like when I think about my tendency to procrastinate and let things pile up and then get stressed out while I'm like powering through things at the 11th hour, that's really hard for me to change. And I've had to have some pain points around that to where I've left things till the last minute and then had to pay extra money on something, or I lost out on something, or there was some kind of repercussion or major inconvenience that came from me putting things off till the last minute. That's one of my traits. So when I think about that, that's really hard for me to change. Like I have to be really conscious and develop new ways of doing things. I have to set alarms on my phone so I don't overlook appointments and client sessions and when I have group coaching calls, because I get forgetful, I get focused on other things, I get distracted, and that's really hard for me to work with. I would probably drive somebody crazy who wouldn't be able to handle that side of me, because that's going to be really hard for me it's hard for me to change. It's there. I have to work really hard to change it. I see why I need to, but I can easily fall back into those patterns very quickly and easily. It's always been there. Now, that's just a sort of a more benign example. If you look at someone with abusive tendencies, abusive traits, selfishness, self-centeredness, high narcissism, that's how they operate in the world. So for them to want to change, they have to see it as a problem. They have to see that they're the problem, that other people are not the problem. Like, I used to go into like, oh, other people are the problem that are inconveniencing me, or other people are the problem with these deadlines and stupid stuff, right? But no, I just left it too long. Like, I got this late fee. Now I'm mad at the company because I have a late fee, when it's like, no, that's actually my fault. I can't go blaming the company for giving me a late fee, or a missed appointment late fee because I forgot my appointment, or I double booked myself. Those are things that are literally my daily reality, and I'm constantly working on it because I see that it's an issue. It is impossible to change something unless you see it as an issue and you want to change it. So I want you to take that and apply it to someone who has these really deeply ingrained abusive traits. They're not interested in looking at themselves, working on themselves, doing any inner reflection, or adjusting their behavior. So once we can really fully accept this, then we can take that energy that we've been using to try and change them and put it toward ourselves and create change for ourselves. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. If you love this show and it has served you and helped you on your journey, please take a moment right now and leave a rating and review in iTunes and Spotify. If you'd like more daily content, videos, and inspiration, come on over and join me at Awakening Women Support Official over on Instagram, where we can connect and you can continue your transformation and growth journey.